Welcome back to another episode of Erica Shmerica Reality Recaps. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiancé Season 8, The Tell-All, Part 2. Because that's all we needed was a Part 2, since last week was pretty lame to begin with. Let's get started. So Part 2 of The Tell-All started out with the whole Andrew and Amira saga. Whatever that was. Whatever they were the entire season of 90 Day Fiancé Season 8. Amira was only going to appear if she didn't have to be seen with Andrew. Andrew said that he would only appear if he could talk to Amira. So clearly there was a stalemate going on, and neither side was willing to concede. Production was working double overtime trying to sweet talk the two of them into changing their mind on the matter. However, no amount of TLC mugs, hats, maybe Angela's signature, and, a free yearly subscription of BoomBod was going to soften the deal. Neither were changing their minds. The other cast members seemed to really want Andrew to come on and speak with Amira because they felt as though they were only getting one part of the story, as did we all, really, and we all wanted to hear what Andrew had to say, but he had a temper tantrum. He wouldn't be seen unless he was speaking to Amira directly, so he stormed off and waited in the car with his flowing hair blowing in the breeze and his wacky mismatched outfit, frumpy and sitting in the car waiting. Amira appeared on the screen in her red lingerie top, lip liner in full effect, extensions flowing. They actually look good. We'll give her credit for those extensions. They looked great. And she is complaining because she's acting physically afraid of Andrew being in the studio from another country surrounded by other people because she thought he might yell at her. And that was really the only thing that she had said was that, he yelled at her and she didn't know when he was going to yell at her and it made her feel sad. So she came on and said, I do not want Andrew to yell at me, and I do not know if he ever going to yell at me. It's very scary, and I sit here in my lingerie top, and oh my God, the voice is almost gone. It's almost gone. We're on episode 2 of The Tell-All. It's almost over. Anyway, so no can do. She doesn't change her mind. The whole cast really wants to hear Andrew's side, and they try and start asking her questions as we had to rewatch their entire season of nothingness. Jovi and Brandon seemed to weigh in. They didn't really understand the whole detention center situation from Mexico. Rebecca understood it pretty well because she lives in a detention center. But other than that, they didn't really seem to understand. There were a couple little holes in her story. She said that she was detained immediately from the airport and put into a jail cell. So I was just curious if this was like a jail cell at the airport. That she didn't really mention being transported, but they took her shoes, they took her cell phone, they left her extensions, and they didn't tell her why she was being detained for 3 days. Now, she seemed more scared about Andrew coming on than she did about actually talking about the detention center, which didn't really make much sense to me personally. But anyway, that's her own deal. So she was recanting this story and saying how scared she was and how, Sean actually asked her, well, then after all of that, oh my God, how could you go on to Serbia and try this again? Wouldn't you have been so traumatized? And she explained, I wanted to prove to Andrew that I love him and I wanted to do everything for my relationship. Oh my God. So that's why she went to Serbia. That's why. And, while she was there, they got in more fights, and she claimed that Andrew, the night before she was leaving for the U.S., said that he needed her to get pregnant right away when she landed in the U.S. So she claimed that that was the fight that made her change her mind, and even then she was still contemplating coming because she saw those bright lights of Sephora calling her name. All she wanted was more lip liner, and she was gonna really sacrifice it all for Sephora. Which also would have made a great baby name if they would have gone through with it. Amira also noted that when she returned from Serbia after her heartbreak of returning her ring to Mordor so that Andrew could have it back and actually sending gifts gifts, as she said, for his family and for him. I don't know if it was more blue berets or what, but he didn't even send a merci note in the mail. And she was devastated. And then she found out that he was back on the dating site where they had met. Of course, she was so devastated that she herself went out and found a new love of her life, that she quickly seemed to forget all of her trauma and move right along. And he's conveniently from the United States. Mazel tov to Amira and Mr. New love of her life. Also, Team Tarzal. Of course, this is usually everyone's cue to use the bathroom or maybe take a little nap, but Team Tarzal kind of kept it short and sweet. All they had to talk about was their girlfriend Minty, Mendy, or Menti, depending on how you choose to pronounce it that day. Minty came on and she spoke with Team Tarzal. Hazel was immediately like giving her face. Obviously doesn't like her, while Tariq is still in touch with her. He even was busted because Minty came out and said that they had spoken that day. Hazel, of course, is all mad about that. Tariq keeps telling Hazel that she actually was pretty okay with it. Hazel said that she actually started a group text between the three of them because, they love a good group activity, those three. So she had started a group text so that she could actually kind of BCC herself into their little affair. I guess whatever helps you sleep at night. However, they could clearly just go and text each other outside of the group chat. I digress. So, Tariq kind of couldn't really back up his excuses for still talking to Minty, other than they're friends. Obviously, they're great friends. And at least he wasn't wearing his Thailand t-shirt. Then they talked again about Natalie and Big Mike, and again about the jealousy. Now, I thought it was very funny that they brought up last tell-all from their last season, where Big Mike had spent the night at his friend Sarah's house the night before her wedding because he was a best man. And Natalie was very upset because he had slept over her house, also with a bunch of other people, but he had crashed at her house, woken up topless on the couch, and then she heard his friend Sarah in the background saying, "I'm going to take a shower," which pretty much is what you would do if you had a house full of people. Anyway, obviously there was no more story to talk about, so they had to drudge this up from last season's tell-all, which was curious that they didn't bring all of this up then. So they actually had Sarah on, the woman in question that Natalie is convinced that Mike had an affair with, who looks like a very brunette Lisa Marie Presley to me personally, with some tattoos. So she comes on and she actually says that she and Natalie really didn't hit it off because during their first video chat, Natalie said, Are all women in America American whores like you? I mean, and that's an opening line you just got to reserve for certain people. You really do. And Natalie just went for it because that's the kind of girl she is. She just goes for it. Of course, Natalie had no recollection of saying it. It was probably her alter ego, Natalushka, that said it. She can't remember anything this Natalushka does. No, Michael, I don't. However, she totally said it. We know she said it. Come on. So, thanks for drudging up this friend Sarah and bringing her in. A little too late, but better late than never. So that was pretty much all. Other than that, Rebecca kind of interjected here and there like she was a real relationship expert. She has been married 4 times, so maybe she is. I just hope that nothing they talked about was anything she ever went through with her ex from Morocco. I found myself wanting to just throw things at the TV every time she interjected. That was just me. I don't know why she kind of had that effect on me during this tell-all part 2. Other than that, Jovi and Yara were just kind of there, and as they were leaving, Yara's probably coming up with like what gift she wants to ask Jovi for now that she had to watch his bachelor party on television. And Brandon and Julia were just, again, talking about being ready to leave the farm. Thanks so much for joining me today for another episode of Erica Shmerica Reality Recaps. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. And there's a little notification bell if you want to hit that too. That way you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. Bye, guys!